Hi there and welcome to Apple World. Mariah Carey is getting hauled for rottenness for forfeiting her mother and sister for popularity, and the web is losing its steadily adoring psyche over this. Mariah's sister, Allison, and their mother Patricia died several days prior, and keeping in mind that fans are at first grieved for Mariah, a few fans are currently putting two together and are charging Mariah of purportedly being into some obscure stuff. Mariah has been blamed in the past for being into some obscure stuff, particularly since both of her kin guarantee that they supposedly used to partake in sinister customs as children and with her mother. What's more, kin dying, great fans are beginning to sort this out, and it appears as though there is something else to the circumstance that meets the eye. So has Mariah truly been rehearsing black magic this whole time, and did her sister sincerely attempt to caution us before she passed we should spill the tea? So a couple of days prior, Mariah shared some awful net. That was through Individuals magazine reporting that both her mother Patricia and her sister Allison unfortunately died on the equivalent day. She said, "My heart is broken that I've lost my mom this previous end of the week. Unfortunately, in a grievous development. My sister lost her life around that same time. I feel honored that I had the option to spend the last week with my mother before she passed. I value everybody's adoration, backing, and regard for my security during this inconceivable time. Losing two friends and family around the same time is past sad, and despite the fact that Mariah and Allison weren't based on the best conditions, losing a kin is still unquestionably extreme. We try not to have every one of the insights concerning how Mariah's mother passed, yet Mariah saw it coming in her explanation. She referenced feeling honored to have enjoyed the week with her mother. Some sources are asserting that Patricia was managing a drawn-out sickness that left her out of commission around the finish of her life, and Mariah was extraordinarily steady of her mother during her sickness presently. We don't have the foggiest idea how long Patricia was wiped out for yet. Sources are implying that the disease happened for a long while presently. Like I said, Mariah keeps the points of interest private, which is absolutely her right, since managing this pain is hard enough with the additional strain of attempting to take care of fans on the web. However, typically when fate mildly assembles that way, this is on the grounds that things are looking pretty terrible and they need to be there before the most terrible occurs. And like Mariah said, she enjoyed the week with her mother before the passing, so it sort of appeared like a hospice circumstance where they realized what was coming, as miserable as it sounds. On the off chance that you've been staying aware of Mariah's venture throughout the long term, you know that her relationship with their mother hasn't continued. Honestly, been the most straightforward. Things have been very harmful between them before, and at a point looking like was beginning. They could never get along ever in light of the fact that the circumstance was so untidy. Mariah has spoken about this connection between her and her mother, and she asserted that at a point she questioned that they might ever have a relationship since it just couldn't get along. She appeared to even get serious about it in her journal, sharing a portion of the high point and low points they've had. She composed, "Like numerous parts of my life, my excursion with my mom has been full of inconsistencies and contending truths. It's been an entire rainbow of feelings. Our relationship is a thorny rope of pride, torment, disgrace, appreciation, envy, profound respect, and dissatisfaction." Mariah went on in the book that a confounded love ties my heart to my mom's. Yet in spite of these rough minutes, Mariah actually figured out how to keep a relationship with her mom. We don't know precisely the way that nearby they were yet. In the event that Mariah was able to drop everything also be by her mother's side, they appeared to be on very great terms, or possibly they were in a spot in their relationship where Mariah felt significantly better will towards mother to require her life to be postponed for 7 days just to accompany her mother. However, unfortunately, the same can't be said for Allison. Mariah's sister reports are asserting that she and Mariah weren't based on great conditions when Allison passed, and truly, this isn't exceptionally amazing given how tense things have forever been among Mariah and her sister Allison. Mariah has been open in the past about the unusual relationship she has with Allison and has made it clear that she isn't intrigued, at the very least, in keeping a relationship of any sort with Allison in her diary. Mariah talked about her stressed relationship, saying that it was sincerely and truly more secure for me not to have any contact with her sister any longer. She has likewise made some noise about the reason she decided not to have Allison in her life any longer, and in her journal, which she composed when I was 12 years of age, "My sister tranquilized me with Valium, offered me a pinky nail brimming with cocaine, incurred me with severely charred areas, and attempted to sell me out to a pimp. Currently, we've heard about some harmful family show. However, this is stunningly simple, and much all that anyone could need justification for Mariah to need to cut Allison off anyway. Allison has consistently denied this, blaming Mariah for making things up to do right by herself in the media. Allison guaranteed that she was as a matter of fact, one who had a horrendous youth since her mother Patricia supposedly pimped her out when she was only a kid. She addressed the child about it, and as indicated by the journalist, Allison guaranteed she felt awkward when her mother asked her to converse with a man she knew from chapel in his vehicle. She said, "I remained in the vehicle until he attempted to inspire me to contact him. Then I attempted to get out for her to request that I converse with him in his vehicle. It didn't appear to be that weird at the time. It didn't come up in my brain. She was my mother. That is what you requested that I do. What's more, I'll do it yet, get this." Mariah, too, doesn't have a decent connection with her sibling. Morgan and Allison still have a decent relationship, yet he has scrutinized Mariah in the past for declining to keep a relationship with her kin, particularly Allison for the exam model when Allison required cerebrum. Furthermore, a spinal medical procedure in 2016 put Mariah on impact for not stepping in to deal with her sister. He said she likely spends more on canine food than it would cost to ensure her sister gets appropriately focused on Allison, who has frantically connected with Mariah over. What's more, over again we won't ever hear back anyway. Mariah has frequently said that she's given her family, including Allison, a huge number of dollars throughout the long term. However, she didn't say for what now before you all begin slamming Allison and accusing her of all sorts of stuff. It means quite a bit to note that Allison has had combat enslavement for a long time, as indicated by The Sun magazine. Allison allegedly began filling in as a sex specialist at the age of only 16, which purportedly prompted a heroin fixation, and she later contracted HIV enslavement, which is a troublesome thing to manage, and Allison had her battles for quite a while, considerably more. She was additionally destitute for some time, and the child asserted that Allison frequently dozed in vehicles or lived in hostels for the destitute, asserting she received has no monetary help from her sister. I'm not saying that Mariah owes her sister everything except being destitute, while your sister is worth a huge number of dollars. Separated from the horrendous stuff about her being examined and purportedly pimped out by her mother, she guaranteed that she was additionally purportedly taken to unnerving evil services. This most likely makes sense of her battles since we frequently see enslavement and other battles with individuals who have been as sad as children. She likewise guaranteed that her mother constrained her to participate in these sinister demonstrations to help Mariah's profession, which was obscure as F in 2018. Allison did a meeting and said it sounds hard to accept, and I have such countless recollections. I wish I never had a nearby relative used to awaken me not long before 2 a.m. Further, take me to an old corridor that looked like a palace, which was a short walk from the congregation we used to go to in Huntington, New York. The spot is still there. I could show you precisely where it is. Then horrible things would occur, things that a kid ought to never see. I was attempted there. They told me if I didn't do everything they said to me, or on the other hand, assuming I told them what was happening, they would hurt Mariah anyway, as per TMZ. Allison's habit of making a rift between the sisters in the long run, driving Mariah to remove her things, was supposedly so peculiar that TMZ guaranteed Mariah didn't actually contact Allison before she gave away. TMZ went to report that Mariah had a go at supporting Allison both genuinely and monetarily, but it wasn't sufficient to get Allison back on the road, our sources say. Mariah at last concluded she really wanted to show Allison some real love and not go about as an empowering influence, so she cut off her sister and set up a wall between them anyway after Allison died. One of her companions, David Cook, stood up, saying that Allison had been frantic to reconnect with her sister before her demise. As per David, Mariah wasn't receptive to Allison's endeavors to connect. He asserted that Mariah never put forth any attempt to contact Allison, even after she was purportedly educated a month prior to Al was kicking the bucket addressing the U.S. child. David said Allison was despondent that her child sister had cut off contact with her. She discussed it habitually and contemplated whether Mariah or any of her family members would come to her burial service. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.